That's right, for another Launching Life's Journeys podcast with my lovely co-host, Maris Brennan from MARVAC, and we're continuing our special series, but today's even more special than the special. This is a special. Maris, who do we have today?
The man, the myth, the legend, and my coworker, Darren Ing, director of MARVAC, is here to talk about the regional show coming up. Where are we going to be this weekend?
Yes, let's talk about the destination, which is going to start, Thursday? Friday in Battle Creek, Michigan. Darren, why don't you tell us what we have going on there this weekend?
Sure. This will be the 36th annual Battle Creek MARVAC RV and Camping Show held at the Kellogg Arena in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Awesome. And just to give everybody some context, if you're new to the episodes or you've been following along, this is not the first or the only MARVAC show. This is one of how many, Darren, that you guys do throughout the state that Maris has already said in a previous podcast, but I need the reminder, how many shows do you guys do a year?
We do a total of 6 shows each year.
Okay. So this is number 4 or 5?
From the calendar year, if you will, this will be our second show of 2023.
Okay. And then you have a few more to go.
Absolutely. After this week, we will begin moving on to Port Huron, then back to Flint, and then to Traverse City.
And I'm sure we're going to bring you on again so we can kind of highlight each of the shows that follow. So, as Maris and I had said, offline, we talked to you. This special campground series is going great because it's everything that has to do with who you guys have been for all of your members in the great state of Michigan. I'm getting really jazzed because I just think that there's so much work that you guys do going into every show. It's more than just, a great opportunity for folks like us, the manufacturers, the vendors, the suppliers, the campgrounds, all your members, also all the community. And I love that you guys work so hard every year. I always say you guys work your face off. You work so hard to be available to everybody throughout the state. So regionally, obviously there's a lot of, planning that goes into it. So kudos to you guys. Talk about this Battle Creek show, the 36th annual. What do customers patrons, the community need to know as far as, are kids free? Can they bring animals? What's kind of the lay of the land, the meat and the potatoes, as I always speak, for the general public that wants to come?
Sure. We are going to have 4 dealers representing over 40 units on display. And historically, we will have everything from motorized to pop-up units on display. So a little bit of something for everyone's price point. Along with that, we will have campgrounds, parts and supply, and other vendors at the show. So it's an opportunity for a consumer to come, see what's latest and greatest from RVs, and learn a little bit more about where they can go to camp for the upcoming season. And as you mentioned before, an opportunity to pick up the 2023 MARVAC Campground and RV Directory. So it's a great one-stop shop to prepare for the upcoming summer season.
And I'm going to use this as a transition. Maris,
Yes.
We talked almost every episode about why your website is so great. So just as a reminder, Darren just hit on it, single source for info. Can you talk about what's so great about your website?
So there it is. Oh, this way. It is right there, marvac.org. We have all the members of our trade association, including our campgrounds, our dealers, our manufacturers, and our suppliers, all of their information is housed there. So people that are looking to plan their vacation, looking to purchase an RV, looking to service their RV, all of those things can be found within our membership, and you can get to them from marvac.org, which is really awesome. And for the show this weekend, we also have the MARVAC booth that will have as many of our campground members as I can possibly wrangle into giving me information. We'll have their rack cards there right along with our directory, so you can do a lot of campground planning while you're there.
And the good news, folks, there's a rumor that Darren does sign autographs. So if you want to get an autograph, you got to get to the booth. And it just sounds like, again, it's going to be a fantastic show. You guys already have confirmation from all 4 dealers, 40 units as you had outlined. You know, obviously, the show is powered by Heartland RV. We only make towables. But as you guys have done so well of all the shows that I've been a part of since I've met you guys, you do have truly everything for everybody, including a lot of the campgrounds. They do a lot more than just RV camping. There's some tent. I've heard of the word yurt, so that's something to be learning about. But we've got a lot of camping opportunities of every shape and form throughout our great state, and there's nobody that promotes it better than my pals at MARVAC. Coming up for the show, Darren, do you know ballpark? Just some of the cost. If people want to come for a day, do they get a multi-day pass? How does it kind of work?
Sure. The best source of information, as Maris had mentioned, would be to go to our website. We have all the prices for all of the shows listed there, as well as an opportunity. If you want to buy tickets online in advance, you can do that as well before the show starts.
We call that a layup question, folks, because I know you're always going to go to the marvac.org website for that information. Okay, and then here's a question. Here's a really good question, Maris and Darren. Let's say some people are coming to the show, and they're not just general public. They have an interest to join MARVAC. Can they talk to you guys about joining and the outline of benefits that also maybe include being a star guest on the Launching Life's Journeys podcast with Maris?
They can. At each show, we do have a show office, and the MARVAC staff is there throughout the entire show. If you were to stop in the office and ask for me or Darren or our fabulous boss, John Lindley, CEO and president, we would all be happy to share that information with you free of charge. So, Darren, Willie often says to me that we are working our faces off, and we do, but mostly you do. So let's talk a little bit about what goes into creating this. How many days ahead of time are we going to be at the show? When do you show up and start letting dealers in and getting the space planned out?
Sure. So as you can imagine, with 6 shows around the state of Michigan, it's a significant undertaking where we officially mark the date immediately following the show. So we're a year out in planning the actual date with the venue. And typically about 4 to 6 months out, we begin drawing up the floor plan. We begin talking with those members who may be interested in being a part of the show, so we can develop not only the floor plan for the dealers, but those exhibitors that want to be a part of the show. So it is important that if you're interested in being a part of any of the MARVAC RV and camping shows, that you reach out sooner rather than later, so we can make sure to include you in the event itself. It is a great opportunity to allow consumers to learn more about whether it's your product and brand or your campground or the services you provide to those consumers. As Maris mentioned, there's an opportunity to have your information as a campground for distribution, but whether you're a dealer as well, you can never begin thinking too early about being a part of the show, because again, we all know that the camping lifestyle and the RVing lifestyle have become so popular, and with so many people booking so much earlier nowadays, to get ahead of it is the smart thing to do, and it allows you to begin planning how you're going to execute your marketing strategy for the upcoming year.
Now, Darren, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it for everyone else too. We have 3 more regional shows after Battle Creek. If someone wanted to get into those shows, is there any hope of getting a booth, or are they just gone?
Currently, I have a very small select opportunity for an exhibitor to be a part of the show. However, time is of the essence. The person who contacts me today and takes that last booth is then preventing the next person, if you will. So, again, you want to be the first one in, you don't want to be the last person when the music stops. So please contact either Maris or myself here at the association office and let us know of your interest. We can immediately get you that information and secure your spot immediately.
So basically it's like FIFO, right? That acronym, first in, first out. So you got to be the first caller before they're zeroed out.
It's like a radio show.
Yeah. And have you guys found too that with some of the members, because I've noticed sometimes members will go to more than just one show. Is that something that they'll just kind of say, hey, you know what? We see a lot of value because no matter where you guys are throughout the state, I mean, literally thousands of families come through there. It is great exposure. And I'm not going to get into the commercial here because that's between, you guys and the members. But people do have the ability to sign up for one or all six, correct? Like, okay.
Absolutely. We do have members that do take advantage of being a part of every show. And to your point, Willem, that's because they want to gain that exposure to people throughout the state of Michigan. And regardless of where you're physically, geographically located, you're allowing other people the opportunity to learn more about where you're at. And the only way to do that, the best way to do that, is to be there in person.
And there's another question that hit me too when I was out in Utah, because I saw some unique patrons that had displays at a different RV show, obviously not affiliated with MARVAC because it's in the state of Utah. Can you just kind of outline too, Darren, and I know, Maris, you had once before, there may be some people that think, is my product good for campgrounds, good for RVs? And I think just to kind of give people a little bit of, confidence in what they are developing, because as you guys know, there's some amazing entrepreneurs throughout the state that are doing a lot more than just, inflatable kayaks and paddle boards. So Darren, can you just kind of give, just maybe a little bit from you as well, and Maris, obviously, as a lovely co-host, you can share as well. But if people are tentative, the best thing to do, again, hint, hint, marvac.org. But, can you just kind of outline how you guys go about making your assessment to go, hey, you know what, this product or your service, it fits to be at one of our shows?
Sure. As you can imagine, William, the first opportunity to be a part of any MARVAC show does go to our members. And however, that does not just mean whether you're a dealer or a campground owner. There are plenty of companies that provide parts and accessories and other opportunities for people to enjoy and enhance their camping experience. So to your point, if you were doing kayaks, or if you have fire sticks for the fireplace,
okay,
if you're running lights and hitches, those are opportunities. Anything that in any way, shape, or form touch or resonates with the consumer who is going camping in RV, we absolutely welcome that opportunity to be a part of our show, because we never know what the consumer may be looking for. Maybe they're looking to upgrade their hitching capability within their tow vehicle. Maybe they're looking for lights and plates for their RV. We don't presume to know what everyone's looking for, but we welcome the opportunity for those exhibitors that are going to provide enhancements to the consumers, the opportunity to be in the show and display their products and services.
In short, we look for fun. We look for fun stuff. We look for things that are going to make people smile, but we also have some of those, insurance-y, finance-y type stuff too, just so that if you go there, everything you could possibly want outside of your s'mores material is at the store.
So I would even suggest, even if you're a local entertainment to a specified campground where you've had a lot of patrons come off that campground ground. I mean, Maris, you and I were talking about when you go to campgrounds, there's a lot of things to do outside of, the property of the campground, whether it's golf, whether it's rock and roll concerts, whether it's casinos. So I will suggest to anybody listening, if you are a entrepreneur and you're making, as I saw out west, some neodymium, and I don't even think I said it right, neodymium magnets that they use for storage underneath the RV cabinetry. And like I said, this is not exclusive to our portfolio of brands, folks. We say, hey, we're supporting the industry. So every manufacturer is looking for great, people to meet, and they have new innovations to add to what we've already created. So if you are that person, get a hold of MARVAC. If you have something really awesome that you want a lot of people to see at a neighboring campground, get a hold of MARVAC. Do not limit yourself or make an assumption, well, if it doesn't help start a fire or doesn't help empty a black tank, I don't qualify. Darren and Maris and John and their entire team, even their wonderful marketing team, who I always razz, they are the most kind humans, and all they want to do is bring advocacy and promotion all around campgrounds and really family fun in the outdoors. So, Darren, listen, I want to wish you and the team, Maris, you're going to be there, right? Because I know you're kind of a big deal now with this podcast hosting. I think New York was calling you, so we'll just have to see what happens. But I wish you guys a fantastic show. Again, Darren himself is going to be there, as well as Maris. So if you guys have questions about membership, about getting set up, first in, first out, time is limited with the balance of the shows for this spring as we get ready to start camping season. Darren, where is the website everybody needs to go to for information about the balance of your shows and all things that have to do with campgrounds in the great state of Michigan?
Absolutely. That is marvac.org, MARVAC.org.
And if they didn't hear that, Maris, what is that website again?
It's marvac.org.
And they say 3 times the charm. Folks, all things state of Michigan, camping, fun, shows, Darren, autographs, marvac.org. Darren, thank you so much. I love you. Thanks for putting up with me. Maris, you're the best as well. We have a lot more shows coming. So all of you that are following us on this journey, and you just wait for me to stop talking and let Maris talk, well, good news. There's more episodes coming. So with that, get to the 36th annual Kellogg Arena, the 36th annual MARVAC show at the Kellogg Arena in Battle Creek, Michigan, with our good friends of MARVAC. Thank you so much, Darren, for taking some time.
Thank you, William, for having me.
I'm Will Miller, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Launching Life's Journeys podcast, brought to you by Heartland RVs. Stay tuned for our next destination.